Very good evening to all, to Dinesh as well as Vishal.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Is my voice audible and clear to you?
Yeah, now it is audible. Yes, you are clear.
Okay, fine. Before starting the session, so there will be some housekeeping notes. Please mute yourself to make the session very fruitfully. And the second thing is that whenever you are having any questions, just type your questions in the chat window or in the Q&A session, and all your queries will be addressed at an appropriate time or at the end of the session.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So for the next 30 to 45 minutes, we are been talking about the SAP Business Objects Data Services, which is simply called as BODS. So today we have been speaking about this, and the agenda will be like this. Like, my agenda is the roadmap of the course and the SAP Business Objects Data Services 4.2 overview, and to show you the tool, how it will be working and how we can integrate with some of the things which have been possible for us. And not the least, we are having a Q&A session, right? So before moving to the session, so can you know what you have been expecting from this session, so that we can concentrate on the same lines?
Yeah, basic things about the data warehousing and...
excuse me, who is this? Is this Dinesh or Vishal?
Yeah, this is Vishal.
Okay.
Basics about data warehousing, I already have a knowledge of data warehousing, but still means as it is come from the data warehousing, one of the BODS is one of the part. So what is the use of SAP BODS in data warehousing?
Okay.
The concepts of data warehousing and how it is related to SAP BODS and the basics of BODS.
Okay, fine. So as far as agenda was concerned, we are not deeply covering any of the data warehousing techniques in this particular demo. But in our regular sessions, so we will be dealing, if people are being really required for the data warehousing topics also. So for the initial days, so we will be covering the data warehouse topics depending on the interest and the level of understanding of the resources, right? But today agenda is a majority will be focusing on what BODS is and how our course will be like that, and why BODS, because there are lot many tools that have been existing in the market, this ETL purpose. Then why you are been choosing only the BODS, why not the others, right? Okay, and can I have the expectations from Dinesh?
Hi, I'm from SQL background. Can you hear me?
Yes, I was able to hear you.
Go ahead. Basically, I'm from SQL background, and I'm looking forward to join BODS because I got an opportunity in data warehousing. So that's what I've joined for this BODS.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I'll try my level best to address all your things and to be covering and make this session fruitful. So as per agenda was concerned, so I'm going ahead like this: the roadmap of the course and the SAP Business Objects Data Services overview, and how we can integrate this with different source systems, and the Q&A session. All right. See, coming to the roadmap of the coming to the roadmap of the course. See, SAP Business Objects will be dealing with two types of data sources majorly. So the first thing is in the form of the SAP perspectives, and the second one is with respect to non-SAP perspectives, because by using these SAP BODS, we can extract data from any of the sources, even it is an SAP product or even it is a non-SAP products also. That's why we are being distributed into two ways, like SAP products and non-SAP products. So SAP products will be coming like this: the SAP BW or SAP ECC at CRM, SRM, and whatever the modules that are been existing in SAP ERP system. And coming to the non-SAP perspectives, you can take any of the databases which are been existing in the current market, like Oracle, MS SQL, MySQL, Sybase, and whatever. Even we can extract the data from flat files also. Right? So going forward, previously before 2008, Business Objects is an independent organization, so where in which it has been designed some of the Business Objects tools called as the BOXy for reporting purpose and BODS for ETL purpose, right? But when in 2008 the acquisition of SAP has been done with Business Objects, majority of the things had been changed with respect to the SAP perspectives, because previously when Business Objects is owned on its own, it is more into non-SAP perspectives. That means it will be working on different databases which are not the part of SAP. But once SAP has been acquired, the Business Objects, SAP worked on many of the things, and in the recent versions they had been given a tight integration between the SAP Business Objects products with respect to SAP as well as non-SAP, because they had never disturbed whatever the quality and whatever the capability that Business Objects suite is having previously before acquiring of SAP. They are still maintaining all the capabilities, and still they are trying to have some of the improvements in the stage. Parallelly, they are working on the SAP perspectives also to have a tight integration, because SAP's own product is currently SAP BO as well as the SAP all the module products. Right. Next. Here SAP Business Objects platform will be divided into two parts, which is majorly concerned to our topic.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
You said the BOXy and BODS, right?
Yes.
It is a kind of two types of how it means what how it is derived. You mean the BODS is a two types of how it is? I have a doubt on that.
Okay.
BODS
See.
for ETL purpose, you said.
Yes, perfect. See here, BO is having two products called as BO and BODS. SAP BO is only for going and generating your reports, but this BODS is purely an ETL tool wherein which you are extracting the data from different source systems, you are transforming the data. That means you can cleanse the data, you can massage the data, you can do the transformations on your data, and you are loading into your target systems. That is the purpose of BODS. Once it was there in the target system, like the data had been changed into a meaningful way from the raw fashion to the business perspective fashion, then the BO part will be coming to picture. BO will be taking those files as a source and generating the reports. That's why BO has been developed two products, that is Business Objects as well as Business Objects Data Services. In the previous, yes, see, BOXy is nothing but, see, BO is nothing but the organization name as Business Objects.
Yes.
It has been developed BOXy called as the reporting things. But nowadays when SAP has been acquired and the recent market has been introduced, so at that point of time they had been removed XI and simply called as BOBI platform.
Okay,
So
fine.
business
Now
object, business intelligence.
Yeah,
Okay. 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 Can I go ahead? Okay. Right. So we have been talking about the Business Objects platform. So this Business Objects platform is divided into two parts currently: the SAP BOBI, the SAP Business Objects Business Intelligence 4.0. Because why I had been mentioned 4.0 means, so the BI integration has been tightly from 4.0, but in the previous versions when it was there in 3x, still it is called as BOXy 3x, even the 3.1. And coming to the SAP BODS, The latest version in the market which has been having is 4.2. Okay, and this BODS can be having a capability of EIM, stands for Enterprise Information Management. That means this BODS can be used as a data migration tool in data migration projects as well as an ETL tool in the DW projects. Right? So this, depending on our requirements and the project landscape, you can utilize the same tool, the SAP BODS, in two fashions, like as a migration tool or an ETL tool, basing on your landscape. Right.
I'm sorry. What is the, means there is two versions you have mentioned, it's 4.0 and 4.2. Is it any major difference in that both means, and yeah, is it any difference in that both?
No, no, no.
Major
See,
difference?
no. See here, SAP BOBI 4.0.
0, yeah.
Yes, 4.0, whatever you call. 4.0 has been released when SAP BODS is there in 4.1, because extraction will be having a one-step head. Currently in the market, SAP BOBI 4.1 is running, but still BODS is 4.2. Always there was an integration between the BO and BODS, even though it was being developed from BO perspectives also, they will be maintaining like this. Suppose if the product is of let me give you a notepad. Okay. Suppose, let me increase the font. Okay. Suppose if you are using Boxy 3.1, at the time we are having BODS 3.2 version. Alright.
Yeah.
Next, when we are using BOBI 4.0, the BODS version is BODS 4.1. Currently we are using the BOBI 4.1 and the version of BODS is 4.2, because BO has been maintained in such a fashion that always the ETL tool is one step ahead when compared to the reporting ones. This is the hierarchy and this is a fashion that from BO standpoint of view they are being maintaining. Still SAP is continuing the same.
Okay.
Alright? Okay.
So you mean in each and every organization, what version will be they will be using, like for what are the possibilities, they will use the latest version or they will be using the older version?
See, that depends on the project. Suppose still some of the projects, suppose if the client is still using 3.1 at the reporting point, so then clients are asking us, because already they are having the license for 3.2, that's why they are saying that still maintaining over there. If there is an upgradation for the tool of the Boxy from BOBI, from Boxy to BOBI 4.0, then automatically the upgradation need to be taking place from the BODS, from BODS 3.2 to 4.1. Because these are the guidelines that have been published from SAP, and whenever the customers are being going for an upgradation, so they need to strictly maintaining these things to have a smooth migrations. Okay? Okay, right. So, right. So that's why I've been talking about the data migration projects as well as the ETL tool for data warehousing projects. So here our SAP BODS will be used in two fashions, like data migrations as well as the ETL tool for the data warehousing projects, depending on the landscape. Right. See, coming to the course content, whatever we have been covering here is that to understanding the data warehouse techniques with respect to the data services part. Here we will be describing about the components, the management tools and the development process, and the relationship between the objects and the architecture of the BODS. The next thing is that we'll be concentrating on defining the sources and target metadata. Why we are calling as metadata here is that in BODS, whatever we are doing, only BODS will be extracting the metadata but not the data. Until and unless you have been executing your job in the BODS environment, you will be playing around with all the metadata, even though from the source or the target, you will never touch any of the data. Okay, whenever we are been executing our job, then only the corresponding tables or the corresponding views data will be fetched and it will be executed and it will be transformed. Whatever the logic that had been defined at our business standpoint will be executed and the final data will be loaded into the target tables. So that's why we have been clearly saying that defining source and target metadata. Here in this topic we have been working on creating a database data store and import metadata, create a new file formats and handling the errors, flat file extractions, query transformations, SQL transformations, case transformation, merge transformations. And here in BODS we are having the additional feature like we can trace and we can debug our jobs by using the validations. We can use the descriptors, we can use validations of the tracing jobs, and we can use the interactive debugger to see how the data has been flown from source to the target. And coming to the job standpoint, we can create different types of jobs which will be called as batch jobs, creating a project, creating a job, creating a workflow and a data flow, using the query transformations in the data flows and the template tables and other things. To go with the product lines and the course content deeply, see in this module we are going to be covered. See, is the font visible to you, or do you need to increase the font?
Can you please increase one level? It's 8.5. Can you please increase to 10?
Okay, doing it. Okay, is it clear now?
Yeah, it is okay. Yeah, better.
Okay, right. See, in our training, we have been concentrating on 16 modules, wherein which the first concept, what had been discussed, is about the data warehousing concepts. The second module is understanding the data integrators, defining the source target metadata, right? So coming to here, the deeper understanding of data integration. So in these integrations, we had been explaining what are the components that are being included in the data integrations and how the objects are having the relationships, and defining the source and target metadata, creating a database, data stores and importing the metadata, creating different file formats and handling of the errors, validations of different jobs and creating the jobs, and coming to the user built-in transformations and the nested data. Here we are using case merge validation transformations, importing metadata from XML documents and using XML pipeline in the data flows. Using the built-in functions, just go and see the environment once. Right. See, as we have been talking about the things, see here we are seeing SAP Data Services 4.2, right? In this, I am opening Data Services Designer. right? So this is the interface of SAP Data Services Designer, and this is start page. So wherein which are being able to see different parts of this, like project areas and the local object libraries, and this is a pane wherein which you can navigate between projects. Right? So here we have been talking about some of the things called as transformations and the user built-in functions. So to go and see about this, SAP BODS is giving lot many built-in functions without writing any of the SQL codes or without writing any of the complex ABAP coding to achieve the things. Simply SAP BODS has been come up with different aggregate or different functions. These functions are called as built-in functions, where we can directly use these functions and to achieve our business requirements. See, we are going to different categories of the functions. In the aggregate functions, you can use average, count distinct, maximum, minimum. In the conversion functions, you can convert from char to integers, decimals, dates, and date extensions. And even you can use the encryptor functions also to encrypt and decrypt for the security of your data. And some of the custom functions are there. You can use database functions, SQL functions, key generating functions, some of the date functions like date difference, date part, date in month, date in week, date in year, month, year, quarter, system date, system time, and other things. Some of the environment functions like what is environment. By using these functions directly, we can go and use the error handling. So error handling can be directly done by using these functions like get error files, get monitor files, get tracing files, and some of the lookup functions like lookup extensions, and some of the mathematical functions like absolute, ceil, floor, logarithms, mode, random, round around, square root, and truncate. Some of the miscellaneous functions to get the house names, to get the database types, database version, database name, the owner, and some of the SAP functions where the process chain has been executed or not and what the status of that one, and some of the string functions which you had been very much known in each and every language, even though if you are there doing some of these functions in SQL steps also, like ltrim, rtrim, print, match, indexing, length function, subcase, lowcase, word, extensions, left pad, right pad, ltrim, rtrim, and some of the system functions called as execution functions, mail functions, and some of the validation functions. Is a validate or validate time, like this. So by using these built-in functions, we can directly use. So that's why here we have been covering some of the built-in functions called as the date and time functions for the date generation transformations, some of the lookup functions, match functions, and the data types. See, Dinesh, your voice is very much low. Can you please speak a little bit louder?
No, this is Vishal.
Okay, Vishal, tell me.
Yeah, my question is this: these built-in functions, it's like it's automatically it will be there in the software, or we have to install in that?
No. Automatically, it will become through the software itself. Once your software installation has been done successfully, all the built-in functions will be available in your interface.
There in that software, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Right?
So we don't need to do any SQL functions. It will be directly writing it when we do the.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing will be done from our end. Simply, directly you'll go. First, you need to understand your business, and you need to select which function is a exact function to satisfy your business. That is the thing you need to work it on. Once it has been selected and you think that this is my valid function, go and click on the function. It will do on its own. Simply,
so it's like automation.
Yes, it's purely automation.
Okay.
See, automatically if you click on the function, you can see here what the function will do and what it will return. See here in the validation functions, I had clicked on is valid datetime function. So at the bottom you are seeing that returns 1 if the input string is a valid datetime, 0 otherwise. So it is throwing you a boolean values. If your date is a valid date, it will throw the value as 1. If it is having an invalid datetime, it will be throwing as 0, like that. Suppose if you are going to average, calculate the average of a given set of values. If you are saying count, it is saying that counts the number of values in the table column, like this. So you need to choose the built-in functions which is appropriate to your business. Basing on that one, automatically the backend process will be executing. You will not write any of the code, simply straight away you need to use these functions. Okay, right. So we're behind some of the lookup functions, match pattern functions, and the database type functions. And in BODS, we do have another advantage called as data integrator scripting language and variables. Here there is another thing called as script, wherein which you can write your scripts in it, like this. Suppose if I would like to execute some of the things, I need to pass to a particular variable, which is a global variable or a local variable. So basing on that one, I can write my SQL statements here itself and execute the script. This is another advantage of BODS. Even though you can use the built-in functions here, because see, I'm using a built-in function called as SQL. SQL function is available in database functions. See, I'm using this function, the SQL function here, and I'm writing a small script to generate the end time of the process into the date job variable. So like this, we can write some of the scripts to generate the values. So explaining the difference between the global and local variables, creating a local variables and the custom functions, use the strings and variables for the data integration scripting languages. The other advantage of the BODS is capturing changes in data. That means whatever the changes that are been occurring will be automatically captured by using this CDC technique, so which will be available as a transformation here itself. See, map CDC operations. So by using this particular transformation, we can find out what are the changes that have been made to your source system, and only the changed and updated records will be moved to your target. This is one of the advantage of this BODS. Right? Using change data capture by using the timestamp sources, creating initial and delta load jobs, and even though we can maintain the history preservation also, like the part-time history preservation, full history preservation by using the history preservation transformation, which is available in the same part. See, this is called as history preservation. Basing on your requirement, if you want to maintain all the history or part of the history, or to one record, or one change, 2 changes, 3 changes, 10 changes, depending on your things. So your history will be maintaining by using this history preservation transformation. And error handling, already we have been talking about, the recovery of the failed jobs, the manual and recovery of the workflows, and the audit points. And moreover, in this course we have been going and covering some of the topics on the BW. Right? Previously, whatever the things I have been talking about are from non-SAP systems, and coming to the SAP part, BW 7.3 powered by Hana, and in-memory optimized info cubes, in-memory optimized DSOs, migrating the concepts of 7.3 traditional databases to 7.0 on SAP Hana, customer testimonials, and supporting a multi-user environment. That means a particular data flow or a particular job can be accessed by more than one user by maintaining them in a central repository, creating and activate the central repositories, working with the objects with the central repositories. The next thing is migrating the projects. That means your project will be published towards the repository wherein which all the other users having the access who are having the authorizations. You can create the groups and you can modify the permissions for the groups and some sort of the basic administrative things like adding the repositories and adding the roles and scheduling the jobs, executing the jobs, monitoring the jobs, and in some point of time we can do the load balancing also. Next point is we can profile the data. So data profiling can be done. Why data profiling is very much important here is that the data profiling is a thing wherein which you need to massage the data, you need to cleanse the data, you need to transform the data, and making your data from the raw fashion from an unstructured format to a structured format. And again, managing the metadata by using the import metadata, and finally the concepts of SAP BODS with BW and Hana, like SAP BW 4.0 with Hana, and extracting the data from ECC system to Hana system by using SAP BODS 4.0 or 4.2, extracting data from BW to Hana, and SAP extracting from non-SAP systems to Hana by using SAP BODS. So SAP BODS is a layer wherein which it can be work as an ETL information, extraction, transformation and loading layer between your source systems and the target system. Even your target system is an SAP HANA system. Right? So coming back to our content, so I've been discussed about this. Okay. Currently in the market, as SAP HANA is into the market, it is having the tight integration with SAP BODS, and this is the only ETL tool which can interact with SAP HANA. As of today, the only ETL tool which can interact with the SAP HANA is only SAP BODS. That's why SAP BODS is having a tight integration with the SAP HANA. As of now, there are no other ETL tools available in the market which are been having the interaction with the SAP HANA. Right? Now, the other point is when SAP BW 7.3 is there, automatically in SAP BW 7.3 onwards, directly the data source for BODS has been included in the BW system itself. Previously up to 7.0, there is no direct connectivity from BW to BODS. Right? But from 7.3 onwards, we are having SAP BODS as a source system. Just we will see the same thing in our system itself. What's up? Someone has been terminated now. Right. If you are going to the source systems, see we are having data services as a source system when we are there, when our SAP BW version is from 7.3. 7.3, 7.4, in these versions we are having these data services as a source system which can directly interact with the SAP BW systems. Right? This is about the things that what had been there in the course. And coming to why BODS is here. Suppose in the enterprise system, we are having the data has been spread across in different ways, like data is available on web, data is available on Twitter, data is available in emails, spreadsheets, Facebooks, events, enterprise applications like ECC, CRM, SRM, BW systems, data marts, data warehouses, and databases. Like the databases are like SAP Hana or the other traditional databases what we are knowing as Oracle, MySQL, MS SQL, Sybase, and lot many things. So we are having the data in unstructured format in different forms, wherein which the data is doubling for every 18 months. And the second point here is that 80% of our enterprise data is unstructured. And the third one, the important point is information is a strategic corporate asset. So because whatever the information that is available is always asset for the corporate. So what we need to do here is that whatever the data that is available in an unstructured format, you need to maintain all the unstructured data into a structural and meaningful way, and you need to convert it in terms of your business. Right? How SAP BODS can be work here? SAP Business Objects Data Services, you can help your business run better by delivering timely and trusted information. SAP Business Objects Data Services, data changes limit your ability to leverage information as a strategic asset. So we are been leveraging the things of information and maintaining our data in a meaningful format by using the techniques called as massaging of the data, data cleansing, and transforming of the data, and converting by using these techniques the unstructured data into a structural format. Right? Here data can be available in the enterprise applications like SAP BE ECC, SAP CRM, SRM, and other applications, and some of the legacy systems like mainframes, and your unstructured data can be available on web, Excel spreadsheets, Twitter, mails, words, somewhere, and all these data need to be maintained into a meaningful format to survive all our business intelligence needs. So to maintain these,
Ramesh, sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Data profiling also the same like data services, right? Because
Yes.
even the data profiling also, you said the same thing like cleaning the unstructured data into structured data. So my question is, both data services and data profiling both are same?
See again, if you are been more concentrating on the quality standpoint, you will be more been doing your data profiling.
Okay.
Right? But data profiling not only deal with cleansing and transformation of your data, but you need to maintain, it need to be having an inline format which is surveying all your business needs when you are profiling your data. But coming to the quality of the data, you'll be seeing the part of the things which are been there for your project landscape. So that is the difference between profiling and the cleansing and whatever we are doing here.
Yeah,
Okay? Yes.
yeah.
Right. See, by using SAP Business Objects Data Services, we can move the data from different source systems to the target systems. We can improve the quality of the data. We can have the good governance, and we can maintain the unstructured data into a structural and meaningful formats. Right? So by using this, what can be achieved? We can ensure the complete and accurate information with the first and only all-in-one enterprise class solutions for data integration, data quality, information stewardship, and text analytics. So I'll be going back and I'll showing the tool here itself. Like, see, it is capable of maintaining all these things for data integration, data quality, platforming, and text data processing in BODS. Right? Next. extended your data view into unstructured text sources with a native text analytics functionality. So which has been very much available in the latest versions of BODS called as text analytics functionality. The last one, text data processing. Add location awareness to make better business decisions. We will talk this point in the next 2 slides. Easily embed the data quality functions into any third party or homegrown applications via new DQM, data quality management SDK. Right? So simply we are saying that this is a first and only all-in-one solution for data integration, quality and information steward. By using these, we can improve the quality, we can governance, and we can unlock. Right? By using this text functionality, we can sort through the noise of the unstructured data, automatically identify what your text data contains about who, what, where, when, how much, and lot many extra things that can be done. Right. Next, coming to this location, I had said that we will be talking in the next slide. So here in SAP BODS, it's having a new feature wherein which it can be identify a particular person or a particular place wherein which is having its exact location up to the nearest extent. So understanding the location factor relative to your opportunity, and drive better business decisions. So by using this, you can have complete address locations and need to determine the closest address based on an input latitude and longitudes. Identify the point of interest around a location within a specific range or based on the closest location. Because we are not saying that exactly at the location, but we can identify the nearest location where he is exactly locating, and we can identify similar records based on their physical proximity to each other. Right? By using the number of customers within the area, the proximity of the competing businesses, and distribution of the complementary services. All right. Here it is having another transformation, so wherein which it is taking the values like the city, the state, the zip code. By using these UA functionalities, it will be able to trace the exact and or the nearest location. Right. The another important point is the information steward, so wherein which it is more been involved into data profiling. So what it can be do is discover and understand enterprise data, but information steward is not a part of BODS. It is a separate tool that was been delivered by SAP. But for majority of the cases, data profiling is done at information steward level only. Right? So that's why discover and understand enterprise data, data profiling and metadata management, discovering the catalogs and the efforts, defining the data ownership and the workflows and resolve the quality of the issues, and monitoring the data quality. Right? Here they are giving one of the examples which has been done by using the cleansing packages builders from one of the experts, so wherein which the products, materials and the non-data parties had been available by using these data cleansing techniques by using information steward. Right? When we are talking about the encryption functions which are being available in the built-in functions, these encryption functions are being useful in the data services, allow the user to encrypt sensitive data, example like credit card numbers, government ID numbers, date of birth, salary information to government intelligence, etc. So ensures that the functional task can be completed without the danger of data exposure. Here I am having the credit card data. By using the encrypted functions, I am been simply encrypting the credit card information to this particular information. If it was being shared across, so no one can be identified that this information is a credit card information. So whatever the encryption techniques that I have been using at an authorized users level, so we'll be giving the how to decrypt this one to see the original data. Right. Here I have been talking about the enabling the synchronizations and dependables and the reliability management of the users access and processing across all the systems via common central services for the BI and data services. Here in the BO we are not been maintaining a separate management console or an administration control for each and every tool. It is a tight integration had been made by SAP itself and maintaining all the things at one of the management console called as CMC, Central Management Console. So it will be used to maintain all the administrative activities of SAP Business Objects as well as SAP Business Objects Data Services. So that's why in the diagram we have been having SAP Business Objects Data Services 4.0 and SAP Business Objects BI 4.0. So it will be having the capability of handling the common services of user authorization, administration, security and scheduling. Right. Up till now we have been talking about how it has been worked in the migrations and how it has been worked on the systems. Now I will be seeing about how it will be working on an ETL standpoint of view. So in the data services what we have been saying is that the single tool to define all the extractions, validations and having the cleansing rules. Right. If we are going here, the cleanse function. Equality. See, by using these data cleansing functions, automatically it will be available for us to cleanse the data. Right? Okay, back to our slides. So, enable native access to the business feeds like BW extraction is not required. Automatically, you can ensure data from SAP or the non-SAP systems is cleansed and reconciled before loading the data into BW. Right? Here, what it is talking about is that you can extract the data from SAP business suites by using SAP extractors or any of the third-party data sources into BODS environment, and whatever the data transformations that have been taking place can be done at a BODS layer, and later on we can load the data into SAP Netweaver BW or any of the third-party data warehousing tools. By using these things, what are the advantages are you can load, your loads can run fast, job setup is much easier to deploy and maintain, delta loads fully supported, right? See here, delta loads fully supported by using CDC. Already had been discussed about this change data capture by using hierarchical flattening and history preservation, and high quality data is prerequisite for accurate analysis and informed decision making. Right. Next, coming to the BW part, auto-generated data service extraction jobs from within BW to load data from any of the sources. Right. Previously, already had seen the screen of how we are having the BODS services that have been embedded in BW environment. Right. Previously, up to the previous versions, we need to go for 3.x versions, but in the current version of BODS directly you can talk to BW 7.3. So from within BW workbench, browse external metadata to see the data services connectivity. Native loading of BW 7. Data sources through new staging called as BAPIs. We are no longer required to go via BW 3.5 emulation modes. So previously when we are there at BODS 3.2 versions, at that time if you want to talk to any of the BW sources, So it is having the capability of dealing with the version of BW which is there at 3.5 version. It cannot interact with 7.0 or 7.3. But in the latest versions, by using these BAPI techniques, we can interact with the 7.3 data sources also. Right? Here I am using SAP Hana. Now we have been talking about BW. Now I have been talking about SAP Hana. SAP Hana is an in-memory database, so wherein which it can be used for data marting also. And your SAP BW 7.3 can be having the database as SAP Hana. From SAP BW 7.3 only, you can use SAP Hana as your database, but prior to 7.3, the SAP Hana cannot be used as a database. You can depend on your database systems, traditional database systems, Oracle or MySQL or MS SQL, right? Here, by using these data provisioning techniques in SAP Hana, by using SAP systems to, one second, my diagram is not correct. This line need to be, from SAP systems to HANA system. Right? This is the correct way. Right? How can we do this? Let's see the things. Right now I am going to HANA Studio. So by using these configuration import server, have been imported BODS as my server. So after that, by using these import technologies, I can extract data from any of the contents having the selective import of metadata. How it can be worked is, we are having the physical data tables that are being available in our schemas, and we can directly talk with these tables which are directly the data of your ECC systems or BW systems or whatever it is. Right? Parallelly, you can also work with the information models which are being available in the HANA Studio, like attribute views, analytical views, calculation views, like this. See, this is one of the attribute view that was designed on the customer information, and we are having one of the analytical view which is having on the fact data of materials and customers, and in the same fashion we can have some of the calculation views also. Right? So you can access any of these things by using the BODS environment to fetch the data into HANA environment. Right? Here we are having three types of approaches. The first approach is called as ETL based approach, and the second approach is called as SLT, called as SAP landscape transformation, wherein which you can fetch the data from SAP systems or non-SAP systems to SAP HANA environment. The other thing is called as flat files. And the fourth one, which is existing, called as Sybase replication, but SAP is no more supporting all these things in the near future. For only the selective customers, it is giving the Sybase replication. And there is another thing called as a DXC, direct extractor connection, which is available for getting the data sources of BW into SAP HANA. Right? Suppose if my database is existing on any of the agile data marts, so wherein which we have been having the data is not in a proper shape, so to do the massaging of the data, to cleanse the data and to transform the data, we are using BODS, and from BODS we have been loading our data into SAP HANA environment. So not only there, here in SAP HANA modular you can use the data services to browse the data and import external metadata also. So that's why I have been showing these things like, go to quick launch. See, by using import we can extract the data from selective import of metadata. We can import any of the metadata that is existing into SAP HANA content. Right? Here the modeler, one second. See, we are there in SAP HANA modeler. This is the development environment and this is the modeler environment. So by using the modeler we can import the data, and model will be generated for the initial flows and loads the data into the new database tables. Further modification of the flows will be done via data services. So further modifications means the change data capture, which is called as initial updates, sorry, initial loads or change records or new records will be done by using CDC. Right? It will be done at the BODS layer, and finally the metadata will be loading into the SAP HANA environment. Right? And moreover, not only here, from any of the SAP ERP systems, EC systems or the CRM systems, we can migrate the data from one system to another system, like move the legacy data from any of the applications into new SAP Business Suite development, ensures data quality and format the needs of the targets, cleanse data to improve quality for more effective business processing, to improve your data quality, and moreover it can be used for master data management also. Right? And data services 4.0 can be having these things which has been taken as enterprise information management suite, data services, and which can be enhanced for having the analytic capabilities. And we are also dealing many of the things which are being in line with the SAP high performance analytical appliance called as Hana, wherein which we can load data in real times also. Right. The another advantage of SAP BODS data services customers can able to access the business content extractors natively on no BW is required. So directly you can extract the extractors that are being available in BW, even though BW is not there in your landscape. Right? No other tool apart from BW will be able to access these extractors. What are the benefits of using these extractors? They are delivered by the SAP Business Suite team and they are recommended for getting the consistent data over the SAP Business Suite applications. And it can use all the delta queues, nothing but CDC, change data captures. And no ABAP coding is required here. Simply by using the transformations, we can achieve our business. Right? Simply by dragging and dropping the sources itself. And here data services is recommended ETL tool to load non-SAP data into SAP NetWare BW. This provides the customers with easy to use interface to access any data source without requiring to write any of the code. So simply we can see the things like this, how BODS can connect. See, here I am giving as test data source. See, the data store type can be these many things. See, BODS can connect to adapters, BODS can connect to databases, BODS can connect to JD Edwards, Oracle applications, PeopleSoft, SAP applications, BW as source, BW as target, and any of the web services applications which have been configured. See, coming to the databases, if I select databases, what type of databases it is going to support? Almost of all the databases. Data Federators, DB2, HP Neo, Informix, SQL Server, MyServer, Netezza, ODBC, Oracle, SAP Hana, SQL Anywhere, Sybase, Teradata. Almost all it is been covering all the databases. Right? If you want to go for any of the perfect SAP applications, you can connect to the SAP applications itself. You can use as BW as source, you can use BW as target. Right? So if you are been creating a data store in different fashions, what are the things that will be looking like? Right? We'll see that one and we'll open for Q&A. Right? See here it is having a data store which is there on a database called as SAP Hana. Right? It is having the version called as SAP Hana 1X. Alright. If I open this, it is having a structure of having functions, tables, and template tables. Right? So if you are been building any of the database type data sources, it will be having the structure like this. Right? Next, coming to the second one, it is of the type called as SAP BW as target. SAP BW target. If you go and expand this one, here it is showing as master transfer structure and transactions transfer structure, because what it is showing as BW as target. So in BW what we are having? We are having master data and transaction data. So that's why it is showing as master transfer structures and transaction transfer structures. Right? Coming to the third one, it is showing as SAP application. So it is building on an SAP application. So it is showing the functions of SAP applications like functions, hierarchies, idocs, ODPs, and the tables that are been existing in that. Like that. So in the form of the data source that have been applying and have been creating, you can access the data in different phases. So irrespective of not writing any of the SQL codes, irrespective of not writing any of the ABAP coding, simply whatever we have been there, so it is been extracting and broadly connected from the files, databases, applications for even mainframes also. Adding trust to your data by cleansing, validating data before loading to the BW systems. And here the other advantage is extractors provide delta queues for simply changes and the other things that have been maintained. Right? Simply we have been avoiding all the ABAP data coding simply by using the SAP BODS. Previous to BODS has been tightly integrated with BW. Whatever the things that are been there, if you want to extract some of the non-SAP source data into SAP BW environment, you need to write n number of lines of ABAP coding to extract a single field into the BW environment. But when SAP BODS is come into picture, all the things have been vanished. Simply fetch the data into BODS, make it into the meaningful format by using the different transformations that are being available in the BODS layer. Fire it. If you see that your data is fine, load it into the BW system. Right? So for the BW customers, can now easily apply data quality transformations when loading SAP data into BW, can now use one single tool to define all extractions, validations and cleansing rules to load all the data even from SAP or non-SAP systems into BW environment. Right? So it can be available for non-BW customers also, which is having the native access to the business suite without having the requirement of BW environment, and all the data loads, delta loads and the will be handled by using CDC. And the text profiling data has been giving another feature for us, which been available for us to analyze the data for log files, spreadsheets, surveys and all the other stuff. Okay. And some of the data quality management things have been available here for data cleaning, automatically corrects the data, addressing cleaning, data cleansing, data enhancements. And here it is been available for matching and consolidations of finding the duplicate and merging records. And these cleansing has been developed for 240 countries that has been covered for 37 with country dictionaries also, and it has been validated the street level validation for China, geocodings, supporting for United States, Canada, UK, France and Germany, and the new countries that are been added in the Data Services 4.0 are adding Austria and Switzerland. Here it has been used the new security features which has been introduced by using a common tool called as a CMC, the Central Management Server, wherein which it will be handling all the administrative needs, authentications and the user management, authorizations, scheduling, job processing, everything in one go. Right. So after this, what have been developed, we'll be seeing our outputs in the form of reports or dashboards or ad hoc queries or OLAP analysis and data explorations to see how our extracted data is looking fine in our reports. Right? So if you had been built any of the models, so typically your model will be looking like the source systems, the transformations, a group of transformations for your business logic, and finally it will be showing in your target. So this is how the business objects data services will be working on, right? And to conclude this, in business objects data services 4.2 onwards, there is another tool called as data services workbench, which is having the similar capabilities of data service designer. Capabilities of data service designer. Then why this new tool has been introduced is that currently it is having some of the capabilities which are being inline more with SAP, and not all the functionalities that are being transformations are not moved into this new tool. See here we are having very limited transformations like readers wise table reader, loader wise table loaders, template tables, and coming to the platform we are having only minimum query, case, merge, map, row generation, SQL, and coming to the integration we are having date generations and effective date. But here when you are seeing about designer, it is having lot many transformations. In data quality it is having these many, and in data integration it is having these many, and in platform it is having these many. So almost of all these transformations are simply developing in a new tool, and simply they are been migrating that one into the new tool. In the next version of BO, almost all every feature will be available in data services workbench. So if you know how to build a particular job in your data services designer, the same thing will be applicable in data services workbench also. There is no difference at all in creating the data flows. Only the look and feel will be different, because transformations are having a separate tool palette here, but when you are seeing the designer, it is having here. Only the look and feel has been different, but the functionality is one and the same. So if you know everything about designer, automatically you can work on the workbench also, right? So in our regular course, we'll be talking about all the things that are been working out at the BODS level of different transformations, and how can we deal the data with SAP Hana as well as the traditional databases like MS SQL. We'll be covering the things in the similar fashion lines. Right. So I'm done from my side. So now it is open for the Q&A session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ramesh. It was a very useful session, yes, because I don't have any knowledge about SAP BODS. Because so many things I have learned now. I can't say like I know everything whatever you said, but still now I came to know. Means I took some notes also. It's like I hope if I go through it, it will be helpful for me. As of now, there is no questions from my side because initially I had questions, but later as I'm not too sure about anything, I'm just going through what are all the things you're saying. And it was very excellent session. Thank you so much, Ramesh.
Okay, thanks a lot.